Hey, what's going on YouTube? Before I get into it, I'm just gonna vent for a little bit. So I did all those videos recorded with my phone against my laptop, and I had this feature on my laptop the whole time. So you can actually see what I'm talking about. And all I needed was a microphone. I had a microphone on ice in the closet the whole time. I'm hot right now because I did this video literally 15 times. I finally got it right. And now when I uploaded it, I had to delete it because my government name was all over the place, and I don't want that out in public. Well, let's get into it. I got a lot of information to share for y'all. And if this is going to go over 30 minutes, well, sit down and watch it. Oh, well. But, all right, let's start with, you know what? All right, here we go. All right, starting with my goal, right? So my goal this season to win $20,000, right? In order for me to win $20,000, I have to put myself in a position to win $20,000. So this is where the parlay bets come into play. Now, here's the thing about the parlay bets. Parlays in general. You're not going to win a lot of parlays, all right? But you're going to have to bet a lot of them to put yourself in a position. So I'm going to have a bankroll of 1700. I'm not going to have a bankroll of 1700. I'm going to spend my check, $100 out of my check for a parlay bet every time I get paid. I'm not going to have a bankroll of 1700, but I'm going to have enough of a bankroll where I can bet a parlay, an 8-game parlay. As you can see over here, $100 will give you $17,000 to put myself in position to win my season total, which is 20 grand. Now, why do I want 20 grand? So basically, I figured out how to get rich. It's really simple, right? You have 4 necessities in life. You have shelter, you have transportation, food, and clothes, right? With those 4 necessities, you can go anywhere in the world and be okay. Now, shelter, that is the biggest expense out of your life. With the biggest expense out of your life taken care of, how are you going to take care of that? Now, what I'm going to say is not financial advice. It's purely for entertainment, and you should do your own research and your own homework on finances as well. But I figured it out. And with all that said, I figured it out. Basically, what you have to do is buy a 4-bedroom unit, not a 4-bedroom unit, a 4-unit house, which you're going to rent out all those 4 units, which is going to pay your mortgage or your rent, whatever. Then your transportation, you're going to buy a couple of used cars, rent them out on Toro, and you're going to pay for your new car, your brand new car that you just purchased. Or you're going to buy a brand new car, rent that on Toro. As you get that money coming in, you can go and buy a used car. You might have to take a bus for maybe a month or 2 or 3, but eventually you're going to have enough to buy a used car. And that's how you want to do that. So your 2 biggest necessities that's going to take out a lot of money out of your life, rent, car note, is taken care of. Or if you can't buy a house, you can't buy any used cars, or don't want to buy a new car rented out on Toro, this is what you do. Sports bet. So how do we put ourselves in position to win 20 grand? Obviously parlays. But this is what the experts want you to do. The experts want you to have a bankroll, probably of 12 grand. Right? We all don't have 12 grand, but this is just an example. And only bet 10% of it. And then 10% of that 12 grand is 1200. Obviously, you bet each game individually, which is $75. It's not including the over and unders and some maybe player props you could bet on, but usually your unit size is $75. Now with the parlay bets, have a separate bankroll of 1700. Bet $100 for each parlay. You could break that $100 down. Say for instance you want to do 4 parlays, 25 each, or 2 parlays, one for 75, one for 25. You can do it that way. Also, realistically, I'm probably gonna have 1,000, maybe even not 1,000, but somewhere close to that range. And what you want to do is bet only $100, which is going to be like $6.25 a game for 16 games. And I also did it so if we had a betting $100 a game and we win about 10 and lose the rest of them, so pretty much we have the totals over here. So this is for the 625 win losses. We will win $56.80, loss $37.50, and we come out with a profit of $19.30. Same thing, if we were bet 100 a game, we will win $1,000. we lost 6, come out with a net profit of 360. If you do that over the course of the year, you probably run into about maybe 6 grand you're going to make for the end of the season. That's going to be in a positive 6 or somewhere near there. Hold on, let me do the quick math real fast. And with all that said, that's still not bad. That's still not bad at all. I mean, it's actually really good money. And we got 17 games in the season? Yeah, that's about $6,120 at the end of the season. So that's still not a bad income if you're able to be this consistent. Now, also, this is the breakdown of the parlays. Did it off of 110, negative 110 in odds. So as we have is a 3-game parlay for $100. This is supposed to be $50, but because I wasn't getting that 300, that was like 297. I said, well, why are we going to do the 297? Might as well give it another 50 cent and get the 300. That's possible. And this is a 625. That's for entertainment. But as you can see, 4 games, that's 1,200, 2,400. 6 games is 4,700, etc., etc. And once we get down here, this is an 8-game. For $100, you win 17,000, or for $50, you win 800 and 8,800 and some change. So we got all that. I'm gearing towards winning my 20. I'm gonna win my 20 grand this year. I'm gonna do everything I can, everything in my power to win that. I'm going to be betting parlays, and I'm going to stay disciplined. I'm not going to bet over my $100 for each bet for my parlays. Stay within that price range, and also as well as do my single bets consistently. Now, getting into it, I think we did the season totals. Put some added information in here. This is the quarterback's winning percentages towards different teams. So say for instance, the Ravens faced the Cowboys. See how Lamar Jackson did against the Cowboys. This is where the link that's going to provide me that information is, and that's just going to put more of a probability of us winning against a certain team, and we know where we stand probability wise. So we also have the power rankings. As you can see, I have Cincinnati Bengals under 500 this year. Here's my thing. I think Joe Burrow got lucky last year. He didn't have a senior slump. He played 3 games his rookie year, got hurt. Last year, they didn't really have any game film on him. This year, they're going to be looking at him. He has a harder schedule this year, and the Bengals I think the Bengals are going to dip this year. I think last year, if they was going to win it, they should have won it. They only lost by 3, which is not bad, but they wasn't top 10 in offense. It wasn't top 10 in defense. And that was concerning. I think it was mostly because they had a favorable schedule. That's my opinion. That's what I like. But as you can see, I got everything almost lined up the way I like it. I'm probably going to put the Bengals right here in the middle, maybe, depending. I'm still waiting on the season or the postseason to get closer to that first week of the NFL season so I can figure out where I want to put these teams. And for the most part, with a couple of different variances, this is how I like the power rankings. I'm going to have the Rams first. Rams is the most put together team. Same coach, same team, other than the trade of Rob Woods. But they got Allen Robinson from Chicago, and that guy's a monster. I mean, you just improved your whole team over the year. Then you got Buffalo, you got Tampa Bay. I'm looking at Tom Brady. I'm going to be very careful with Tom Brady. This might be a season he declines. He might have a bad season this year, or he just might be the GOAT until he retires. So I'm going to be worried about that, but you have to pay attention. The Colts, I'm going to have them up there. The Eagles, they're up here. Again, these might not be in the right positions. I'm still, this is kind of like a rough draft, but I do like the Eagles with a team going over 500 this year. I do like the Colts going over 500, being a top contender. As you have the Ravens, if they stay healthy, the Broncos. Reason why I like the Broncos and I have the Broncos on top in this division, there's a couple of things. So, Kansas City Chiefs, they are lacking in defense. They got worse in defense. I don't care what you tell me. They're still worse. Their offense, and they lost their number 1 wide receiver. Number 1. The Chargers. Chargers is a tough team. I do like the Chargers. The issue with the Chargers is injuries. Man, every year they have major injuries and they can't stay healthy. If they are healthy, they're going to be the #1 team in that division. If not, they're going to have issues. And I feel as though the Broncos. Oh, and then you have the Raiders. Let's not forget the Raiders. Raiders just self-destructs and shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, you've seen it last year with the head coach, with the wide receiver. Too many distractions. Even though they have a really tough team, it's either going to be out of the Raiders if they don't have distractions and if they can stay on point and stay focused this season, they should be fine. And then you have the Denver Broncos. I mean, with Wilson there, the only thing is we don't know who's going to be the #1 wide receiver, but I'm sure they're not going to have issues on figuring out. The running game's tough. The defense, I think the defense is going to get better because you have a good offense who can stay on the field and give your defense a rest. You also picked up some key pickups from it was that defensive end from Dallas that they picked up. So Denver might sneak into that top spot. I do like the Chargers, but I'm worried about the injuries. I mean, it's just every year they have an injury. 2 years prior, you had both wide receivers out. The running back went out. Melvin Gordon went out. That's how he got to Denver. Who is it? A bunch of defensive guys, especially that safety. What is it? Derwin James or something like that? Don't quote me on his name, but it was a safety for the Chargers. He got hurt for the whole season, and he's been hurt since he came into the league. When he's on the field, he's a beast, but injuries. So that's what I have for my power rankings. Again, I'm going to go over these power rankings with a fine-tooth comb and trying to figure out, all right, which is the best team. Then after that, once we get done with reviewing most of these teams, as you can see here, we're going to put the numbers that we like next to the teams with the power rankings, and that's going to be our power ratings. Just so you know, we're going to organize power rankings and power ratings in 2 different categories, and this is going to be our power chart right here where we're going to look at teams. But again, it's still in the future. I'm still working on that. Also have the over and under trends from the previous season, as we see here. After a loss, as a home team going over Philadelphia 75% of the time. I'm looking at them to continue that trend. So if Philadelphia is at home 75%, they're going to go over the total. Same head coach, same quarterback, mostly the same team. Same thing, after a loss, Chargers over 75% of the time. So when the Chargers lose, looking at them to go over. Again, same quarterback, same head coach, no different variances. Same thing as an away team. As we can see with the Minnesota Vikings, if they're away 77% of the time, Kansas City 75% after a win. You get the picture, right? Also, let's go ahead. This is the against the spread. So after a loss, Buffalo Bills, they are 80% covering the spread after a loss. Same thing with Dallas. Dallas has an easy schedule this year, just so you know. So they might do big things again, but Dallas took a huge hit with their wide receivers they lost. Cedric Wilson and with Amari Cooper. So that's a different Dallas team. And oh yeah. So basically you get the picture with all of these. Same head coach, same team for the most part. I'm looking at the trend to continue. And as we can see, here is the schedule for the season. So I'm just going to go over these real quick, real fast. I'm going to go back over them before the first week of the season starts. This is the first week of the season. I'm probably not going to bet preseason. I might throw a bet here and there if they have a good backup quarterback. But other than that, I'm not going to bet too heavy in preseason. So going down the list, Buffalo Rams. I do like the Rams with the -half. I'm just going to do the money line. Rams with the money line and over the total. We have the Indianapolis Colts. I do like the Colts with the -8 and under the 45. Jacksonville. I do like Jacksonville. I'm going to go with Washington, but I want Washington at 2.5 if I can get them at 2.5. And I do like the over in that game. San Francisco and Chicago. I'm looking at San Fran with the negative 6.5 and over the 42. Cleveland and Carolina don't have enough information. I don't know who's starting for Cleveland. And Carolina, I have to look at the numbers. So I don't have anything for that game as for the moment. Philadelphia and Detroit. I do like Philly with the negative 4.5, and I do like the over 46.5. We have Miami and New England. I'm gonna have to look at this, but I do like the over because Miami is loaded on offense. Miami's loaded. We have New Orleans and Atlanta. I'm looking at New Orleans to win. Definitely looking at New Orleans to win. And 42, I'm not going to do the over and under for that game, but I do like the negative 4.5. We have Pitt and Cincinnati Bengals. I'm looking at the 6.5 for Pittsburgh. 6.5, definitely. That's a lot of points, and I think Pittsburgh had a great offseason this season. Jets in Baltimore. Oh, we have a 5. I like Baltimore to win it, and I'm going to take the 5. I'm going to take the 5 with Baltimore. As well as I'm going to go with over with the total. We have Green Bay and Minnesota. I'm going to take the 1.5 from Minnesota, and I don't know about that one. Minnesota, did we just look at the chart and they did go over the total? Yeah, so I'm going to take the 1.5. Again, Green Bay, we don't know what their offense look like yet, so that's still in the works, and they're a slowest paced team. As of last year, they were the slowest paced team, so I'm going to go with the 1.5 for Minnesota. The Giants in Tennessee, I'm gearing more towards the Giants with that 6.5. Yeah, I'm gearing more towards the Giants. The 6.5, I think they can cover the 6.5. Then again, I'm going to go back over these. We have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Kansas City on this one. Too many distractions, everything. So we're going to do it like that. Also, we got Vegas and we got the Chargers. Let's go with the over 52. Tampa Bay and Dallas. I'm going to go with Tampa with the 2.5. I would go with the over, but Dallas, like I said, they lost too many wide receivers. I think they still can get it, though. I think they still can get it. I'm just going to stick with the 2.5 with Tampa on that one. 2.5. And we have Seattle and Denver. I'm gearing more towards the 4.5 for Denver. Seattle's terrible, but that's what I have so far. This is the week 2. We're not there yet. Then again, I have to go through this with a fine-tooth comb again and pull up these odds and stats that I have. All of that is pretty much on paper what I like today if I was to bet today. But going back, since I have time, I'm going to take my time with it, and we're going to go hit it as best as possible. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Most importantly, bet wisely. And as you can see with the game plan, hopefully we can hit our goal of 20K. Well, hit my goal, should I say. But appreciate you guys watching. All right.